All right, good morning, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here to spend a little time with me this morning, keeping your goals top of consciousness. Today we've got a few topics on the agenda. We'll close out with motivation for those that need it instead of beginning with it by request. Realize people's time is valuable, and we've got folks that want us to hit the nutrition on the front end, and then we can talk later. All right, so we're going to try to honor that as best we can. So, survival kit. How many of you pack a survival kit? You do? I tell you, that saved me many a days. That has saved me many holidays. And just quick refresher, not even a refresher, you know this, just driving the point home. Every day that you have what we call a holiday, even if it's planned, that suspends you reaching your destination by a maximum of 2 days. So if you have a holiday on Monday, even though you're going to get that water weight off Tuesday and Wednesday, you did not burn any fat until Thursday, if Thursday's a perfect day. Now, you can shorten that. That can be shortened with fasting, sweating, walking, but we don't know. We don't actually know when we get those insulin levels abated enough to get back into fat burning. And it can be it's not the right word to say counterintuitive. You can think because I put on 5 pounds tonight and got it off the next day that you got it right back off, but you didn't. You did not get the fat right back off. And this is a program about fat loss. So the more weight that you can associate inside your mapping, the more weight that you can associate with that holiday costing you more than just a little regret, I think the more leverage you can get on yourself to have less holidays, especially the accidental ones. Planned ones are fine, but the snackcidents are not. So a survival kit, I don't leave home without it. And my mama, I'm a mama's boy, she does not leave home without hers. So if I'm going to church with them, I don't have to worry about my survival kit because I know she's got hers. But boy, has it saved me a lot of grief. Don't know if I'd ever reached goal without a survival kit, because back in the day, being a revival preacher, we were always out and about. And I'm sure your lifestyle is somewhat similar. So we're going to unpack what can go in that survival kit. You will come up with your own custom ideas for your survival kit. Make it a part of your lifestyle. One of the things that people ask most often is, do restaurants let you bring that in? I've never had a single restaurant get on to me, turn me down. That's the old carnal mind trying to give excuses. If that happens, just don't eat there anymore. Sometimes it's actually a thought or discussion provoking thing where somebody says, well, I want to check that program out and maybe do that too. So example would be Mexican restaurants around here is a staple for my family. After church, it is the Mexican restaurant. That's where everybody wants to go. So going into a Mexican restaurant, they have this thing called chips. Deep fried flour with some salt on it. That's all it is. Without the salt, without the deep fried part, you wouldn't taste anything. It doesn't have any taste. It's just mush mush. But we like the texture, and we like to dip it in cheese dip and guacamole and salsa. But what you're literally doing, that chip represents the Greyhound bus. That is a big, bad, fat bus, and it holds a lot of people. And inside that bowl of cheese dip and guacamole is a lot of people waiting at the bus stop, Cheryl, and they want to be parked in any available garage that the fat bus can find for them. That's what it does. So I'm not eating delicious chips loaded up with cheese dip and guacamole. I'm literally taking the chip and inserting the fat. Taking the chip, inserting the fat. So what I do, I look at things. Y'all will find this very funny and will totally get it. When a couple of years ago when I had to have some counseling, they said, Travis, you have an uncanny ability to take the most complex things and make them very simple. But you also have the ability to take the most simple things and make them complex. I guess that's just me, Patricia. But I've made this simple for me. And what I do is I look at this situation. Cheese dip, guacamole, chips. To reach my goal, do I need to get rid of all of them? The answer was no. I only need to get rid of the chips. Because in the absence of the chips, if I don't overeat the fat that's in the cheese and the guac, my body uses that as an energy source. My body is burning roughly 100 calories per hour. So if I don't overeat that cheese and guac 2 hours later, I'm right back in fat burning. Because you have a prioritization method in your body. Your body, if you can, let's say that you're not consuming anything, and it's been 2 perfect days. Your body has to have energy to function. Your brain, your digestive system, all that, you have to have energy. And the only place it can get it after it's disposed of the extra glucose in the muscles and in the liver is the fat. So now you're burning fat and you ingest something. Body goes, don't need the reserve fuel right now. I've got incoming calories. What are these calories? What happens to this food when I break it down? So it sees protein, carbs, and fat. If it sees all 3 at one time, it can't burn the fiber. It's going to first burn the carbohydrate. That spares the fat for easy storage, and on top of that, you have to deal with the hormone, the fat bus. In the absence of carbs, the body will first burn the fat, which is the easiest to store as fat because it's already in the form of fat, but without a bus, it's a hard process for the body to store it. And if you don't overeat it, you burn it right off right then, and then you go right back to fat burning. Your body can almost not use protein as an energy source other than as the building blocks of life. The only way your body starts breaking down protein and converting it to energy is if all you're eating is protein. And if you do nothing but eat chicken breast and lean protein and no fat and no carbs, your body will become an efficient muscle burning machine, and we don't want that. So basically what I just said is, let me simplify the complex. If we're trying to lose weight, we want 2 things only on that plate. If we're trying to be efficient, we want protein and fat, or protein and carbs and no fat. Now, we can trick the body a little bit by adding a fat that doesn't have any propensity to be stored as fat. What's that called? Just as a refresher.
MCT!
Yeah, baby. We are a part of the 1% of the population that knows that. Thank you, Lord. So that's right. There are ways to have your protein, carbs, and some good fat in the form of MCT. Now, when you get away from MCT and you start going partial MCT, give me a couple of examples of partial MCT here.
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil. Coconut oil is going to be about 66% MCT, about 33.5%, 33.5% LCT. Long chain triglycerides should never be with carbohydrate unless it's fibrous carbohydrate if you're trying to lose weight. Then you have ghee. Ghee has a little bit of MCT, not much, but it has these beautiful things called short chain triglycerides. That don't mean they burn faster necessarily. They can be easily stored, but they're much better for you than long chain triglycerides, and they can even promote metabolism. So ghee is a good one. And then hemp oil. Hemp oil is a pretty good one. But when we're at home, why do anything but MCT? It has almost zero propensity to be stored as fat. It operates in the body as fast as a simple sugar without any fat bus. Yeah, Connie, just keep coming, keep coming. It'll be like riding a bike. Kyra says, so try and welcome back. So trying to focus only on protein is not good. That is correct. So protein needs, it's not, no, wrong choice of words on my part. Protein is the center of every plate. So you should focus on it, but you shouldn't only eat it. And watch how our minds does. So we go, oh, well, then it's not good. No, it's excellent. But where it becomes not excellente is when that's all we're eating. Rarely do you see anybody do that. If you're wanting to lose fat the fastest, lose weight the fastest way possible, and you don't care if it comes from muscle or fat, you just want to get the weight off, you don't care if what that weight consists of, then eating just lean protein. That's the fastest way because you'll lose muscle. How many calories are stored in a pound of muscle? Who knows? There you go, 600. And how many are stored in fat? 3,500. So think about the simplicity of what I'm saying. This has everything to do with survival kit for those of you that come for survival kit. Hang in there. So we've got fat. What weighs more, a pound of fat or a pound of muscle? They weigh the same. What weighs more, 3 sacks of grain or 4 sacks? It's all about context, isn't it? No, 3 sacks of grain weighs more than just 4 sacks. See, gotcha. Okay, so we got fat, and we've got our in my Jeep, I've got manual transmission. I have to put in the clutch, and I have to shift to get fuel. If you have incoming fuel, you are not burning fat unless it's exercise on plate. If I'm burning fat and the only thing I eat for lunch, I'm already in a calorie deficit and I'm already burning fat, now the only thing I eat for lunch is grilled chicken and green beans. There's no energy there. So my body has to go deeper into fat burning just to have the energy to circulate blood to the intestines to break down and absorb all that. That's why we call it exercise on plate. You can burn even more fat because you turn your food into exercise. So I'm sitting here and I'm in neutral, and I've got fat that I want to burn and muscle that I don't want to burn. Is this okay? Is everybody with me? I don't want to burn the muscle. That generates 8 to 12 calories per pound per day of burn. Fat just jiggles and itches. The only reason you burn more calories if you have extra body fat is because that muscle's having to work harder. Fat don't burn fuel, muscle does. So here I am, and fat per pound takes up more than 2 times the space on my body as does the muscle. If I take a 200-pound person and they are 10% body fat and a 200-pound person that's 30% body fat, this person is wearing a much larger size of pant. This person is taking up a lot more space, but they weigh the same. Same thing here. We want to preserve muscle with adequate protein consumption and activity. Adequate protein consumption and activity will prevent that. But let's say we're not preventing that. If I shift in calorie deficit and insulin control times, I shift and burn fat, I have to drain, think about puncturing that like a balloon. I have to drain 3,500 units of energy from that love handle to lose it. But by the same token, look at this. This is horrible. If I puncture this and I start burning muscle efficiently, and that's what people do, no offense, with GLP-1, that's what they do with Atkins. If you're still going to burn some fat and some muscle either way, but we want to try to preserve muscle. If I start draining these units, these are the same as these units. A unit of calorie in the muscle is the same as a unit of calorie in the fat. But once I start burning this muscle, I shift over here through improper eating and no activity. I'm going to lose six times faster if I lose muscle than I can lose fat in the beginning. Does that make sense? That's a fundamental foundational point to everything we build on. If you get that, that should be a oh wow moment. Because this is vital. We need it. And if you say, I don't care how I lose it, I just want it off, you are wrong. You do not know what you're asking for. And yeah, in the beginning, we can lose, before I can lose 1 pound of fat, I can lose 5 pounds of muscle. But you don't want to do that. So all this food combination stuff and everything that we're doing is to try our best through calorie restriction and insulin control and adequate protein, preserve the life and get rid of the death. The only fat that you need is the essential fat and some, as we age, some reserve fat. Any questions about that so far? Because if I just say go get a survival kit, why am I doing this? This is why. So I go in that Mexican restaurant and I take the deep fried flour and load up the guacamole. I'm just loading up fat. I'm having a holiday. It's going to take me 2 days to get back into EFB. You can fix that with a crafty survival kit. All I can do is share with you how I've customized mine. And then you will get creative and customize yours. I used to have a job where I drove all the time. When I first started teaching, I was driving all the time. I still had a lot of weight to lose. I still had 40 pounds to lose when I started teaching this program. I was down a lot, but I started sharing with people everywhere I go, I carry a survival kit. Because the restaurants aren't going to have what I need, and I don't want to sit there and watch Amy eat something that I can't have. I get FOMO, and then I regret it. A survival kit is one of those things, better have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You may never use it, but when psychologically, emotionally, you just feel yourself giving in, and by the way, whoever you're eating with, they'll end up stealing your chips. They'll like yours better. Especially when you start making fun of them. When they make fun of you, that's what my friends used to do. Eat like a man. Eat a real chip. And I would go, you know, every time you eat them chips, what your body's doing, it's going psst, psst, squirting out the fat bus. Next thing you know, they eating my chips. I'm generous. Okay, so we are with a survival kit outside of home. When hunger unexpectedly arises, this prevents us from skipping meals. It prevents us from grabbing really processed bad foods that cause the fat bust. It helps us avoid blood sugar crashes and blood sugar spikes. It helps with time and stress. It helps with the weather. It helps with all kinds of things. It creates calm instead of panic. It creates choice instead of desperation. It creates stability when your routines break down. Also has financial and health benefits because you're not going to impulse buy. You're going to be less reliant on just whatever the convenience store has if you're traveling. You're going to get better digestion, better energy. Core survival kit. Here's how I build mine. First, there are 3 things that I need in my survival kit because of my lifestyle. I need an approved tortilla. Now I can even have a quarter pounder. I can cut my quarter pounder with cheese up, put it in my -2, -3 tortilla, good to go, no problem. If you wanted a bun, you could do a bun. To me, tortillas are more versatile. I can go to Taco Bell and get beans and cheese and put in my tortilla. Done it many a times. So tortilla is a staple for me. Chips are a staple for me in my survival kit. Gotta have chips because of the Mexican restaurant. I use Quest chips, double bites. You can do wild chips. If you don't have chips, then you can simply ask the Mexican restaurant, the waiter or waitress, you can ask them to bring you some sliced bell peppers or raw carrots or celery, and then you still get to knick-knack. And then lastly, salad dressing. That may be the most important because anywhere I go, I can get a salad. I can get a grilled chicken salad. I can get a side salad at McDonald's. I can even put ground beef over the salad, put me some salad dressing. Because it tastes good, I lose weight. Instead of getting taste good and gaining weight, it's tasting good and I'm losing weight. You want a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A? It's the only one that you can have the breaded chicken, the only restaurant, fast food restaurant you can have breaded. I can get a Chick-fil-A sandwich, throw away their bread, put it in my tortilla, I'm good to go. Got no problem. So those are the 3 big ones for me. Now we'll build around that. Let me see what y'all are saying. Can I show my Renfo data and you help me decide? I can. I'm happy to do that if you'll remind me at the end of class, or you can just tell me at the end what your data is. It's real easy to calculate your protein. I use Travis's link. Let's see. You say bread make you dead. Is a tortilla better than bread or the same? It's better. In 9 out of 10 looks at tortillas and bread, tortilla is going to be better. It's going to have more fiber usually, and it's most of the time, not all the time, and usually more protein, but it's still not good. So if we're sitting there looking at beans and cheese, I'm just trying to be practical. We're not promoting fast food. If I'm looking at beans and cheese from Taco Bell, of all places, and I have the option of putting it in a tortilla or just eating the beans and cheese, it's much better to just eat the beans and cheese. Number 1, you're saving calories. Number 2, you're saving a little bit of blood sugar impact. All bread, unless it's 0 carb, is going to have a little bit of blood sugar impact. Does that make sense? Another thing that I do is make up a batch of Carb Quick biscuits, and I'll put those in a Ziploc bag. I love doing that. That's fun as a hamburger bun. If I'm in a tight and I want to get a sausage and biscuit, I can just get me a piece of sausage, throw in there. Don't overlook stuff like that. But if you're looking for ready-made tortillas, for me, the last year or so, it's been the Joseph's high fiber products. I prefer those, the little high fiber pitas. You like those too, Cheryl? And by the way, when you're at home, just a little trick. If you'll take a tablespoon of MCT oil, put it in your nonstick skillet, and then rub both sides of that pita in the oil before you turn the stove eye on. Then once you've patted it down, turn the eye on to about medium heat. It'll just get crisp and bubble up like a chalupa. It's one of my favorite meals. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I can do that with a sandwich. I can do that with a burger. I've been doing that lately with kielbasa and onions and peppers. It's so good. Okay, Then we look at what other things personally get me in trouble. Sometimes I have a sweet tooth. If I'm driving to Florida, unless I want to eat 15 Reese's before I get to Florida, I better have some peanut butter patties in my survival kit. So I do the Health Smart peanut butter patties. Those are also good at home in my peanut butter blast GC control shake. So those, I like the turtles, the Chocolate pecan clusters. I do like, I usually will put a sweet bar in there, like a David bar. Sometimes if I'm going to be away for a while, I'll have a Mighty Muffin because at a convenience store they have a microwave. But whatever it is that you like sweet that's bad for you, just replace it. If you like a Snickers, maybe you have a Fit Crunch bar. If you like M&Ms, maybe you have Atkins M&Ms or Quest M&Ms. So there's a void replacement for almost everything. And why in the world we would ever eat chocolate-covered peanuts and blow 2 days of our outcome, Cheryl, and why not just have Quest chocolate-covered candies or whatever, or Atkins? Those are pretty good. You got to be careful with the quantity, but you get satisfied quicker because of the fiber and or fat. If you eat too many of them, of course, it's sugar alcohol, so you get a little upset. But if you just eat one pack slow and enjoy it, you don't have a problem. Also, another thing that I like is dried fruit. Be careful with dried fruit. If it's high sugar, you're still blowing it. But if it's 5 grams of sugar or less, lately I've liked to keep in the truck a little bit of dehydrated mango. It's 5 net grams of sugar. I got some off Amazon. But just stuff like that. Be thinking like that. If you feel like you're going to get coffee somewhere, keep you some monk fruit or your preferred sweetener. Orbit, sugar-free Orbit gum. That's another one. That's the best one because you've got no calories, really. Also, for me, I crave salty stuff. When I'm craving salty stuff, I know my body's saying that I might need some sodium. My iodine levels might be low and my electrolytes might be off. The more elevated your salty craving, the more likely it is your electrolytes are way out of whack through fasting and calorie deficit and sweating. So I keep with me one of the Rehydrate products. I either keep now Bravenly Rehydrate or Melaleuca Rehydrate. Pour that in my bottled water, shake it up, good to go. I will keep salted nuts. That's one of my, if I need a knick-knack, 1 handful of nuts is a snack episode, 2 handfuls is a meal episode. I also like the sunflower seeds that are flavored, the dill pickle, the Old Bay, and literally they're just extras if you're not getting them already shelled. If they're already shelled, it's the same portion that a regular nut snack is. But in the shell, if you're the kind that does like I do and sucks all the juice out of them and opens it up with your teeth and tongue and eats the little nut, you're burning more calories. You've worked off the calories in that little seed. I know that sounds silly, but it's actually an activity that burns more calories than what's in it, unless you're really proficient. And, maybe you have to test that. But those work well for me. Another big one in my survival kit is jerky. I like to keep jerky in my survival kit. If I kept it cool like I used to do, I would keep jerky and cheese sticks in there, those 50-calorie cheese sticks. I usually don't have a cold, because you get better at this stuff as you go. You get better at a 2-letter word, no. But in the beginning, that's very difficult. I like lately in my survival kit, I have found the wonder of the little Mount Olive pickles in the single serving pack. I love those baby pickles in the single serving pack. And also baby corn. Those little baby pickle corns, a lot of people don't know they're extras on the program. That kernel hasn't fully developed and there's very little starch in it. And I love that baby corn. Roasted chickpeas is another excellent snack for your survival kit. And even chia seed, if you like to put them in your approved beverage. When you put chia seed in an approved, and I've got some great little videos I'm working on using chia seed. Of course, hemp hearts and hemp flakes for my salad. And I don't have all this in there at one time. It's whatever kind of state I've been in dictates my survival kit. But chia seed is really great if you think you're hungry and you put some chia seeds in an approved beverage and drink it, you will be satisfied for hours because the chia is fatty acids. They hold many times their weight in water, so you get the fatty acids and the hydration that sustains you for hours and hours and hours. You're just full. Again, another good one. We're almost to the end here, peanut butter. You might be a peanut butter person. If you're looking for something more whole food like the tuna packets, that's always a good route to go. With that, I'm going to pause for a moment. Does anyone have some suggestions and ideas for the group? Some tips for the survival kit? Connie, I got those at Ingles. They were in a big bin over in front of the wine section in Cartersville. I don't know where they'd have them in other places. They had a big bin of single serving pickles, and I just loved it. It was awesome.
Travis, one of the things that I add to my survival kit are they're not the best, but they're protein bars, just in case, if I'm in a pinch and I'm driving and I get held up somewhere and I need to eat, there's some really good protein bars that we that are -2s on the program.
Absolutely. Protein bars always important to put in there. Yes, ma'am, Patricia.
Well, Target has them. Quest has a mini bar, which is 80 calories. I do better with having a smaller whole something than I do half of the bigger. So I keep some of the mini Quest bars because it's only 80 calories. So it's a whole lot less than 180. So,
Heck yeah.
so that's a good one that fits in a purse. And when you hit a wall, when you're out shopping or just walking or something.
Very good.
And they come in 2 different flavors at Target or order, of course, from Amazon.
Yes. Great.
They're good and easy. Oh, one other thing that I've shared before, I like the Arnold Keto Sandwich Thins because the whole thing is 100 calories. That's what I put my hamburgers on at home because it's 100 calories and it's 17 grams of fiber and 12 of protein. So it's a very low cost in calories for a lot of fiber and protein.
Nice.
When I'm having a hamburger at home. Or you can take it with you. You just have to replace it if you're not keeping it cool.
Super idea. Y'all stay tuned. Those of you that can stay at the end, Connie's giving her Rinfo analysis, and we'll unpack that then too. Cheryl Davis says spicy Quest crackers. Very good. They've got a Cheez-It.
Target has them too.
Yeah, a Cheez-It replace it. Amazon, don't overlook Amazon if you're buying from Amazon. They've got the Fiber Gourmet high fiber crackers. A lot of good stuff there. Single approved popcorn bags. Yep. Do chia seeds melt? Maybe it's not a dumb question at all. Chia seeds do not melt. I, in fact, experimented on Sunday with a chia seed pizza crust. I'm having to learn new things. This is one of the good things about having my back against the wall. I'm having to become a chef. So look out. I am learning some things to share with you guys to make it entertaining. So I'm coming up with some outside the box stuff that's easy. But chia seeds are almost as good as hemp hearts and hemp flakes. Hemp hearts and hemp flakes are my zombie apocalypse go-to. And chia seeds, we ought to have a zombie apocalypse challenge. That would be fun, wouldn't it? We could have one team's the zombies and the other team's running from the zombies. That would be awesome. So chia seed are almost as good, and there's so much that you can do with it. The other day, the only reason I did not showing y'all it was messy. I got to be neater like the other influencers, and I'm not neat. Maybe messy would be funnier. But I made breaded and fried shrimp with chia flour. It was outstanding. It was so good. So lots of stuff you can do with chia seed. They are, if you're a fun fact, if you're a 5Ker or somebody that does long distance, that's part of your thing that you're trying to do and accomplish, it's like a cheat code. Because if you drink your hydration before or during that long run and it had chia seeds in it, you will stay better hydrated than the rest of the challengers, the runners, because of the chia seeds absorption of that liquid. It is a cheat code. Let's see what else we've got. Built bars are good bars. Making your own chips is good. Grab the gold bars, that no-bake bars.
Oh, yeah.
Overlooked gem. Now, I will say about the no-bake bar, the grab the gold, it should really be a meal episode and not a snack. It looks small, but it's thick. And it's right there on the line, but it is a carb. It does elevate my blood sugar. Now that I wear a thing, it jacks me up a good 15, 20 points. So be careful with that. Keto thins. And yeah, the sky's the limit for this stuff, right? Whatever you need to replace things that normally get you. That's what we're looking for. But for me, I'm safe if I have a tortilla, an approved chip, and what was the other one I said? A tortilla, an approved chip. What was the other one? Why am I having a brain meltdown? A chip, a tortilla, salad dressing.
Salad dressing.
Yeah. Gotta have
something
a salad
sweet.
dressing. Something sweet. If you go, let me give you an example. If you go to Zaxby's and get a grilled chicken salad and you tell them to hold, this kind of stuff happens. Hold all the crunchy things. You do everything right and you ask them for light Italian, and then you get down the road and they put honey mustard in there by accident. 2 packs of that honey mustard dressing is 400 calories.
Ooh.
So you just be prepared. That's, if at a restaurant, salad dressing, lemon juice, lime juice, or light Italian. If they don't have those and you didn't bring your own,
Don't need it.
I would rather see you do blue cheese than the others, because that's just fat. Does all that make sense? Should we count carbs per day? Again, it's just how deep do you want to go? When we started this program, there was no counting of any macros. You didn't have to do that. We didn't stop people from doing it. But if you follow the Shield, 3 or less eating episodes, and it's approved foods on this plate, you're going to be on point. With that said, the closer you get to go, you may want to become someone that aims small, miss small. You want to dial in your macros. So in that case, you would count carbs. Here's the rule of thumb. 30 or less carbohydrate combined right with, you should never eat them alone. If you're eating carbohydrate alone, you're not losing fat. Maybe you don't want to, but you're not going to lose very much fat. 30 or less carbs combined the right way per day for most people is fast, efficient, maxed out fat loss. 60 net carbs 30 to 60 is really good, sustainable fat loss. And then anything 60 to 100 or more, you're going to see a distinct slowdown in your results. So if you want to count, now you have to have carbs. Let's say that Angie said, I'm going to start bodybuilding and I want to put on muscle. She needs insulin. So she would need carbohydrate to spare the protein for muscle building. But that's not what we're all trying to accomplish right now. You cannot, and again, this is fact, it ought to be prerequisite that you have to ask any coach you work with the following. And if they don't answer it right, you should avoid them because they don't know what they're talking about. You cannot put on muscle and burn fat at the same time. And every program says you can. You cannot. It is biologically impossible to put on new tissue while losing tissue. You can't. You can only go into a season of muscle preservation and fat loss and a season of trying to build muscle. You go into a bulking season if you're looking at body transformation. If Amy said, I want to compete, the first thing that we would do is get all excess body fat gone while we were conditioning her body with high rep weight training. Then once she got to leaned out, we would then move into a calorie surplus of the right foods and wholesome foods, lower her rep range, heavier weights, and she would have the extra raw material in the form of protein to build muscle. But you have to have insulin, the growth hormone, to build muscle. And if you have insulin, the growth hormone, to build muscle, you can't lose fat at the same time. You can give the illusion. The only way that holds true is if you're brand new and you start following the program with me. You can, over the first month, put on some muscle even in a calorie deficit. Does anybody know how? You're not really putting on muscle. You're just reconstituting the muscle that's already there. Just like fat cells, like right now, my fat cells, all of them are still there. All the ones I had at over 300 pounds are still here. They're just minimized and lay there dormant, ready to fill up again. The same thing for your muscle. Whatever great condition, like Angie was a gymnast, seen the pictures. She was walking muscle. All that muscle's still there. So in the beginning, we can lose fat and reconstitute the muscle just by getting nutrients in the form of blood flow to it. But to put on new muscle and lose fat simultaneously is impossible. So net carbs, yes, Kelly, that would be net carbs. 30 or less net carbs. When I'm really trying to lose fat, I try to keep it below 10 net carbs or less per day. That's fast, efficient fat loss. So a GL1 makes it harder to build muscle, 1,000%. 1,000%. But you're not trying to with GLP-1. It doesn't really even change anything. GLP-1 is meant to control blood glucose levels. And because you're controlling blood glucose levels, you're controlling insulin. And because you're controlling insulin, you're controlling appetite and you're more efficiently burning fat. GLP-1 works. It stands for glucagon-like peptide. Your body produces glucagon by itself. Someone has opted for the shot because their body has become desensitized to the small portion of glucagon your body can produce. So you say, instead of modifying my behaviors right now, not you, I'm using that as a figure of speech, I'm going to take it from outside my body, give myself a bigger dose, and I can get back on track as if this problem doesn't exist. And you do temporarily, and your body goes, wow, I don't need to produce glucagon anymore because Travis is giving it to me in the form of a shot exogenously. We don't need it anymore. Guess what happens if you don't modify your behaviors? You're in a worse boat than you started in, and you're also losing muscle because now you're on it. You didn't modify your behaviors, and you're getting a bigger dose of it, and your body goes, well, I'm desensitized to it too. You have a 12 to 18 month window on GLP-1 to get your weight off and modify your behaviors. If you have to stay on GLP-1 past 12 to 18 months, it is not going to work. Just go read the studies. So if you have the good fortune of a doctor who has prescribed it, see how I'm changing my speech? You look at that like, wowza, what a great blessing this is to me. I got about 12 weeks to take this shot to accelerate my results and then modify my behavior so that I can do this without the shot. I hope that all makes sense. Yeah, all doctors are going to put you on it. If anybody has a doctor here that has said, don't go on it, let me know so I can send them a thank you note. There's big money in it. Big money. And I'm not saying that's the only reason they're doing it. If you've got someone that you can't work with that patient every week, imagine calling your doctor office and saying, I need some motivation this week to eat right. It's not happening. They're just going to give you a prescription and hope you can figure it out. Hey, Pam, I'm not against it. I'm for it if somebody's willing to do the hard work, just like gastric bypass. Same thing. If somebody's going to do that, have that surgery, then they have to be as or more committed to the behavior modification, or it's going to hurt them long term. GLP-1 is going to hurt people long term. Wasn't y'all here when I read that study the other day? So I don't want to be a coward and tell you it's all hunky-dory. It's only hunky-dory for about 6 months. Anybody else? Questions or comments on that? James says, doctor don't want a cure, they want customers. And I believe that, but I know from some of my doctor friend acquaintances, they really want to help people, but they say, Travis, we can't. We don't have time. We're seeing one, and I'll ask when Debbie Hamby's here, y'all have heard me ask her, how much of what you see is related to how people are eating? Almost all of it. It's heartbreaking. Hey, Gwen. Yeah, I did invite, I'm going to jump to collagen real quick. I did invite right now because we need some members. You know, we've reduced staffing and everything. I'm in per class, I'm inviting 10 extra people, and then I go to the next 10 and the next 10 just to give an opportunity for them to see what we're doing. Plus, I'm taking y'all's feedback and trying to do a better job of class, so let's hope we can get some more members. My primary importance is the members we have. So you don't want to lose muscle. You will always lose some fat and some muscle, but dependent upon how you're eating, you're signaling to the body in times of calorie need what to use first, fat or muscle. It doesn't make sense, right? If we think commonsensically, it does not make sense to break down muscle tissue and use it as an energy source. Now, I have had people, I think everybody I'm looking at will go, they can't believe they're hearing this because y'all are like me, y'all value fat loss. I have had people say, I don't care if it's muscle, I just want to get rid of this weight. Makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
That's beautiful. Muscle's beautiful. Beautiful. And yeah, all you can do to keep muscle, you have to get adequate protein. We'll look at that next before collagen. You have to get adequate protein, and you have to use it. If you're doing one of the two of those, let's say that Cheryl and I are doing 36-hour fast all week. I'm not going to get enough protein likely. If I do 3 36-hour fasts, I'm not going to get enough protein that week. But if I exercised and walked all week, if you use it, you don't lose it. That's the difference. If your calories are too low and you're not getting enough protein, and on top of that you have stage 4 couch potato disease, you're going to lose mostly muscle. But if what you get blood flow to, don't die. Same thing with our heart, y'all. Oh, that was terrible, wasn't it? I hear some giggling. I just caught on. What you get blood flow to doesn't, y'all bad, doesn't die. You got to get life and health of the flesh is in the blood. That's why people end up, after yo-yo dieting, destroying their heart muscle. Do you see how that happens? You're not getting enough protein. You're not using the heart. And then you starve weight off, and then you put it right back on with a heart that has less capacity to pump. And people do it over and over and over. You got to put the shield together. Water, journal, combinations, portions, time, and bless the name of the Lord. Then if you want to go the extra mile, walking, stretching, supplementation. And then you got this thing. You're going to maximize your longevity upon this planet and your quality of life. And it's so much better. You will feel better every day. How many of us feel better doing that stuff? Why don't we want to feel better? Don't listen to the devil. We are human. That's right. Okay, let me look at, was it Connie's? Let me pull this up real quick. We may not get to collagen. I may wait until tonight. Unless somebody only came for that. All right, so this is Connie's. She put it in the group. Great job, Connie. Does everybody see that? So if she just follows the shield, she's going to be fine. But she wants to know specifics. Connie is 121 pounds. Her BMI is 20.7. Wow. Incredible BMI. She's here to learn nutrition, as I remember our conversation. She wants to, should we quit the program once we've gotten to our goal? I believe no. Knowledge is power, keeping it on the mind, learning deeper dives, learning hacks, tricks, techniques. That's what she's here to do. But her BMI is excellent. Her body fat percentage is excellent, 24%. To the ladies here that think it can't be done, look at her body fat percentage. Then we're going to jump down here at visceral fat. The fat that has deposited into her vital organs is only 4 pounds. That's incredible. Her water, she could do a little better with her hydration. Then we've got, let's see, her lean body weight. Where am I missing it? Here it is. So her muscle mass is 86.6 pounds. So if we took all of the fat off Connie's body, even the necessary fat, she has 86.6 pounds of lean tissue that can only thrive on protein. So she would need 40, half that would be roughly 43.3. So she needs 44 grams of protein or more. Optimal protein consumption per day for Connie is 87 grams. That would be optimal. If she goes over that, it's not going to hurt her, might even make her feel better. But at 87 grams of protein, if she's fasting some, maybe you make sure you get it in each week, which would be roughly 87 times 7. I'll do 90 times 7, so 630 grams of protein per week. That's what she needs. Her metabolic age is excellent, 51. She's doing everything she can do to maximize good health. Great job, Connie. Well done.
Hey Travis, can you tell me like a portion of like chicken? How many proteins would that be? Like if it measured, your fist?
A fist size, you usually can bank on that being 20 to 30 grams of protein. So I would just, depending on the size of it, I would usually count that as 25 if I didn't look at it to be exact.
And how many do we need in a day?
It depends on your lean body weight. Do you know your lean body weight?
No.
Do you mind sharing with the group your weight?
149.
Okay, let's count that for my math, 150. How much body fat do you feel like you want to lose?
I don't know.
Do you have a goal weight in mind?
Yes, 140.
Okay, 140. So what I usually do if we don't have any measurement device, I take your lean body weight, subtract 10 off of it. So 130. So let's say that you are 130 pounds soaking wet. We get rid of extra fat, then some reserve fat. Let's say that you're 130 pounds of living tissue, including bone, tendon, ligament. We got to feed that with protein. So if you wanted to count your protein, you would need minimal would be half that in protein. Does that make sense? So you would need 65 grams of protein per day.
Okay.
Now, if you are active and exercising, it's still important, but not as important. Unless now a trainer would have just freaked out on me. If you're building, we're talking about preserving muscle and cutting fat. So we have to cut calories. But you need about, if you're 130 pounds lean, I would guess if I did a body fat composition on you, you're probably 110 pounds lean. But let's go with 130. So if you want to count your grams, a lot of people leave on account of that stuff. It starts complicating it. Because if I'm eating this 3 eating episodes and I got protein on every plate, I'm going to cover my protein. But let's say that you love counting, you like counting macros, you need to get about I would say 60 grams of protein, female, our age, 65 grams of protein, 60 grams of protein, that range is going to cover it. So if you have a good protein source at each eating episode, you're going to be fine. If you feel like you're falling short of your protein needs, you might want your snack to be a good protein shake, and then that'll get you over the top.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't worry as much about protein unless I'm in maintenance and I am trying to get stronger. Then I get really weird about getting in enough protein. And I usually have to end the day with a shake to get extra protein. But when I'm just trying to preserve, which is easy to do with some protein and activity, if I can have a good meal with 30 grams of protein and then get a little bit in my other eating episodes, I'm good. Question, is too much protein a bad thing? Depends on who you talk to. If you're talking to me, no. unless you're consuming only protein in pre-digested form. There's never been, despite what anybody says, there's not one documented case of renal kidney failure because of too much protein. Now, if you've got one kidney, I see why they want you to back down on the protein. But if we're getting our protein from whole food sources, you can't really eat too much. It won't let you. It doesn't spike appetite, it controls appetite. If you're getting all of your protein from shakes, you can have too much protein. So if I'm getting 400 or 500 grams of protein because I just love my protein shakes all day, that's going to start weighing heavy on my kidneys. Hope some of that made sense. Might have got off into too deep of waters there. Complicate it as much as is interesting to you. Right, Patricia? So you take Patricia and I, for example. We love it. So the more we learn, we're like a sponge. But if you're new at it and you just want the weight off, if you're like, I just want the weight off, tell me what to do, I want the weight off, you're not a good candidate for journaling or counting macros. If you're like, I'm making a lifelong pursuit of this, this is who I am, this is my lifestyle, I want thousands of hours of education, and I want to be an expert in the matter of lifestyle adoption and behavior modification and nutrition and situational eating, then you're me and Patricia.
Oh,
yes.
The other day, one of my daughters said to me, the one who likes to tell me how I'm doing things right or wrong, that would be my middle daughter. Anyway, she said to me, Mother, I think you pay too much attention to numbers. I said, Laura, if I don't pay attention to numbers, I could be back where I was in 2015 when I started. So it is healthy for me to pay attention to numbers. So I will continue to do so.
Yes, absolutely. We work out, as the Bible says, we work out our own peace, our own salvation with fear and trembling. Nobody can do it for us. I'm on board with you. Bryant says too much protein plus fat could elevate insulin. We could make the case that too much fat can elevate insulin, and that's because of the conversion from carbs to fat and fat to carbs. It's almost impossible to spike insulin levels due to protein. It's almost impossible. You'd have to eat nothing but protein, no fat, no carbs for a long period of time, and then your body would adapt and evolve and get the glucose it needed through the transmutation of that protein. That's how amazing your body is. It will learn to function on whatever it has at its disposal. But protein, because it is the center and building blocks of all life on planet Earth, it's very hard. You have to just eat nothing but lean protein, no carbs, no fat for a long period of time. Then it's possible, but not likely. Now, with fat and carbs, God's designed it so one can transmute into the other, depending on needs and environment. Usually what happens if you're not eating carbs and you get a blood sugar spike, it's because of you still having excess glucose stored in your liver and in your muscle cells. But once your body exhausts all of that resource, it's hard to spike blood sugar with protein and fat. Does that make sense, everybody? Lastly, in our survival kit, Connie's hitting on it now. Thanks for bringing it up. We were going to tackle collagen, I'll do tonight. It's so super important in that survival kit that you have your supplements. Supplements are only as good as the quality of them. only as good as the combination of ingredients. If I were to take this Luminex here, Luminex has got ashwagandha in it, a lot of other things. But if there is a single ingredient missing from that profile, and all this was ashwagandha, I'm not going to absorb it. You don't find that's man's extraction taking place. The real micronutrients are always paired with other alkaloids and micronutrients. Companies are allowed to extract something and say it's in there. This is a better example, berberine. They're allowed to extract berberine, put it in a bottle, and sell it to you. But if the food that you eat with it doesn't have the other nutrients that it needs to absorb it, you will not absorb it. So you want to make sure you good quality. But then even good quality supplements, they are not pharmaceuticals. They're not chemicals. It takes consistent use of them the right way to feel the benefit. If you take a pharmaceutical that works, if you take a hormone, estrogen or testosterone, you will know immediately that it did something. That's why we believe that the drugs work. Supplements, the only way you know they work is if you're on them for 30, 60, 90 days with consistency the right way, and then you do a deprivation study. Anybody that's done peak performance and collagen around here for 90 days, try stopping. Right, Amy? You're going to feel like crap, and you're going to go, what happened? You're not even going to realize it. You're going to think you're sick. But it's all because you stopped giving your body what it needed. You built it up over time and didn't notice it. But then you deprivation study, your own personal deprivation study. Stop it, and if you don't feel no different, it probably wasn't doing you any good. When I stop taking them, I feel like crap. It's not just a head thing. Next in my survival kit, beyond my vitamin, I now keep berberine, but I highly recommend for your holidays the best extract that I can find of kidney bean, Carb Ease Plus. You don't need it every day. And by the way, I forgot something very important. Do anybody know what it is supplement-wise for the survival kit? Apple cider vinegar. Cindy said it. Cindy, if I had money, I'd give you a bonus right now. Bragg's apple cider vinegar. A good swig of it, or put it in your water at the restaurant before you eat, will save you a lot of blood sugar impact. If you know that you're going to hog trough it, you better get you some white kidney bean extract or bean extract. Carb Ease Plus will shut down much of the fat bus. It's not a cure-all, but it saves me tons of blood sugar load if I'm going to pig it. So Carb Ease Plus in my survival kit. Dale Ann says, I can also vouch for quitting collagen. You start getting aches and pains again. I appreciate y'all helping me solidify that in the hearts and minds of people. Thanks for sharing, Dale Ann. Connie, your awesome vitamin. The only thing that would concern me about it, how old is that? They lose their potency. If the expiration date was a long, long time ago, it's probably lost its potency. But it was a good one. We put a lot of effort into that one, but we couldn't keep it manufactured. We didn't have enough sales. Yeah, expiration 2024. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to have any potency. Yes, ma'am, Cindy.
Question about Carb Ease. I took Carb Ease for a long time, and I was when I was in my hemp bar days. Now, y'all know I'm hemp bar queen. Sorry, y'all ain't taking my crown on that. But anyway, I began to notice that when I took Carb Ease, now I'm a freak of nature, we know that, that I bloated. And I'm wondering if there wasn't enough carb even with the hemp bar, even because, you know, when I do a hemp bar challenge, I do a whole bar because that's my whole meal. That's all I eat for the day, you know, so I would do a whole bar. And so just vary my types of it. Um, but I would notice the bloating. So I quit taking Carb Ease. And I'm wondering if I've kind of thrown the bath out with the baby out with the bath water because maybe I really wasn't taking in enough carbs to use the product. Is that such a thing or am I crazy? Don't
Not,
answer that last part.
no, you're, no, you're probably though, you're running from the discomfort. So I would ask, was the discomfort, if you knew it was working, is the discomfort worth less blood sugar impact? Because what the Carb Ease does, not only does it block blood glucose, um, it in the absorption of blood glucose, it expands in your stomach everything you're consuming, so that you have less room to feed. You get better.
Okay, so that's why I would end up looking like I was
Yeah,
7 months pregnant. I
yeah.
mean, I took pictures. I could take picture of me before and after, and because for a while I thought you're losing your mind. This is really not, Betty, don't get on to me. This is really not happening, but it was truthfully happening. So, okay. So it wasn't so much discomfort. Honestly was just a vanity thing because I was like, my goodness, you know, and this would last for a couple of hours then.
Oh,
So, okay.
yeah, and I won't say it to you because you're a lady, but yeah, I get the poops real good after Carb Ease.
Okay.
But relieving that, yeah, it does build up gas and bloat, but it's doing its job, and it's not 2 and 3 days after that. It's doing its job in helping you reduce and minimize the blood sugar impact, which means less insulin.
But does it also make sense, or am I going too far in this that, you know, well, like a holiday meal, there's going to be a whole lot more carb consumed than even in a whole hemp bar.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it was, I'm guessing that maybe, you know, it was overkill really in relationship to the amount of carb that was taken in
There's a
potentially.
fair amount of carbs in that bar. And let me ask you this though: do you recall if you were also doing Fibotrim?
I was not. I've
Okay,
never taken it.
Fibotrim's actually even it does that times two. But I don't. I think it was just the normal. That's a normal feeling I get, and even in my lower belly, it looks bloated. There's
Okay.
a lot of gas in there because you're not absorbing and breaking down those carbs. Think about that. You're eating something, and normally you would be breaking it down and converting it to glucose. Now your body's not breaking it down as efficiently.
Okay.
It,
Well, and with a methylation,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's slowing down the breakdown time of the carbs. So that's another aspect of that.
Okay. And with the methylation issues that I have, it makes sense too about the breaking down. Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Good questions. Let's see what else we got before we go today. Can you take Carb Ease and berberine same time before holiday? I do. Now I take berberine every day no matter what. Berberine's gonna cut. Y'all are gonna find out. You know, a prophet has no honor in their own country. I'm not saying y'all devalue me. You just hear me all the time. It's just that's how life is. But y'all are going to hear year, 2 years, whatever. You're going to hear berberine is one of the best longevity supplements that you can get, even including pharmaceuticals. So berberine should be taken every day. To me, the big three is a good vitamin, collagen, and berberine for our age group. No offense meant. Our age group, our experience levels. Anybody else?
I have a question, Travis.
Yes, ma'am.
My endocrinologist wants me to speak with some of his patients who are um, really obese and are considering the surgery as an alternative to the surgery to get them motivated. And a lot of them are in our age group and have limited options due to health concerns. A lot of them I have shared as well. So he wants me to speak with them. I intend to direct them to the school platform. Is it okay to hand them the workbooks that I have left over from Shibboleth, the journals and the workbooks and things? Is it okay to still pass them out?
Oh,
I
sure.
have some left from the Sunday school classes where I had shared them, where I had given a couple Sunday school meetings on them.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was okay to still use those materials or not, since you had changed the platform some.
It is now. Sometimes I say that because in my heart, Shibboleth was mine, but legally it wasn't mine. But
Mm-hmm.
what my lawyer told me, it's just called abandonment. The program, the materials, all of it, the corporation that owned my intellectual property abandoned it. So
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to hear anything from anybody. My former partner's not going to care unless
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it shows up on Dr. Oz or something, and then I don't think that's going to happen. So,
No,
um,
we're just trying to motivate them to get up off their tuchus and to, pay attention to what they're eating. And, he likes to use my pictures with some of his clients to motivate them.
that should,
I don't know about that, but he, if I can help him, I try.
yeah, I know you will, inspiring. And those of you listening, again, we're not pushing it or promoting it, but everybody here has a link. And if you'd like to share, if you're going to speak like Angie's speaking and you'd like to share your link with them, let Lisa or Lara know, and they'll give you your own personal link. And then it's so easy on me because I don't have to do it. School pays you a percentage of whatever goes through that link. It helps me and it helps you, and it's on a reoccurring basis as long as they pay. So if you want that link, just let Larry and Lisa know. Is there any particular seller to get Rimfo? Rimfo scales, y'all. I'm with Miss. If Hume gets their act together, I'm with Miss Betty. But that's a great little apparatus there. But I got off on a tangent. The Rimfo scale for the money, I don't know how they do it. Mine's been working for years, never missed a beat, never heard any serious problems with it. You get an app, gives great feedback. I've done body fat pinch test along with it. It's right on point with that. And it's under $30. So Amazon is the best supplier of the Rimfo scales that I'm aware of. Very inexpensive, high quality scale. James, off topic, but just had blood work. And by the way, Bryant and I both recommend the Whoop Strap. It's awesome. Off topic, but just had blood work. Doctor said my sodium levels are low. This is a surprise to people. They're always worried about their sodium. But what happens when you eat healthfully, your sodium levels end up low. Will pink salt help with that? I recommend organic Himalayan salt or organic sea salt. Put a pinch of that in your water a time or two a day. That will help. James, you may want to look at Lugel's iodine. That helped my sodium levels, but follow the instructions. Dummy me didn't. I'm embarrassed as a health coach that I did that, but I put a big dropper under my tongue and held it, and it burnt the I couldn't taste nothing for a month. I'm like, why did I do that? I knew better than that. But you just put some diluted in your water and drink it. You'll have better cognitive function. It helps delay early onset dementia and Alzheimer's, but it also will elevate your sodium levels to usually proper. Lugol's iodine. Just take it right and don't take too much. Kelly got the measuring tape. Good deal. Temple Care and Wellness in Chatsworth treating me for hormones. Connie Frank says that. Highly recommend everybody in our experience range here in this group. Don't be afraid of it. The studies are profound, and they've got a large sample size of studies going back 50 years. Some might do well, unless you know, Patricia, cardiologist, probably gonna say no, but if you don't have any heart issues or complications, go get you a panel from an endocrinologist. You may need a little help with testosterone or estrogen. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Connie's doing that. Since I'm just starting the collagen, any pointers of what to do or not to do is what to drink with it? None whatsoever. If you're using our collagen, I'm assuming whichever one you're using is the same. I'd have to read up on it. But I use ours with the ceramides and then the collagen boost with the astaxanthin, or however you say it. So that's what I use, and there's nothing wrong to take it with, other than I don't want to have it with a high sugar substance because that would provoke the fat bus. I put it in yogurt, mix it in my Spark, mix it in my Bravenly, just whatever you like it in. When will I do another class? Tonight at 7 p.m. Make sure, Lisa, she knows where to find the schedule. Please put that about dementia in class notes. My mom has it and I don't want it. If I can remember, by the way, it's Lugol's iodine off of Amazon. Put 8 drops in water and just drink it once a day. It'll help with cognitive function, depression. If you're craving salty stuff a lot, you likely need more than you do need to add a pinch of Himalayan salt to something. You probably need some iodine. Your iodine levels are low. Too much iodine can be dangerous, so don't play with baking soda and iodine. That's another thing that's coming around the pike again, does ever so often. These health guys, the holistic folks, put baking soda in stuff. You can kill yourself putting baking soda in stuff. So if you're doing that holistically, it's just a pinch once a day if you need that. But iodine, same way. If you take it responsibly, it can really be of benefit. It can be toxic if you take too much. Which Bravenly do you mix collagen with? I've done it with the gold. I love the gold before sleep time. And my favorite Bravenly, I started Bravenly only for Bravenly Brew Extreme. That's the only reason I started it. And then I ended up liking the gold and this even better. This is Bravenly Balance. This is the one I usually put the collagen in. You can drink the collagen hot or cold. When I do the gold, the turmeric one, I do it hot. This one I do cold. And you can see it's got, good Lord, it's got everything in it. So everything good. But yeah, Bravenly Balance is the one. I don't have the link to iodine. I'll show you what it looks like just so there's no confusion. I don't want you to get the wrong thing. The one that I use, bear with me. Hang tight here. I'm sure lots of different ones would work, but well, I don't see the one I got. Here we go. Share my screen. This is the one you're looking for. J. Crow's Lugal Solution. That's the one that I use. I call it Lugals, but the brand name's J. Crow's. What bravenly would I start out trying first? If you're wanting the best thing for fat loss they have, in my opinion, now they'll tell you different. They'll say Ignite, but I get the most comprehensive product, which is Balance. Bravenly Balance is their most comprehensive product, and it has metabolic enhancers in it, along with other great stuff. Then next, Bravenly Brew Extreme. I probably drink mostly the gold, but it's my third. I just like it before bed. It helps me sleep. But if you're asking which is the best, for me, I was just trying to find a coffee to replace Four Sigmatic. So I started with Bravenly Brew Extreme. I still drink it and I love it. But then I stumbled on these other products that I like. It would replace Zip Slim. Bravenly Balance is a superior product. Zip Slim was the best weight loss beverage I could find on the marketplace. Their company keeps having solvency issues. And then Celia told me about Bravenly Balance. I would say it's the closest competitor, but I think vastly superior. This is a premium product. It's not a Zip Slim was that too, and it's good. If you still got Zip Slim, I'd go through that first because there's nothing wrong with Zip Slim. That's a phenomenal product. Some of the premium products, they struggle striking the right balance because the product, I know this happened at Zip, they have so much good stuff in there and people already feel it's too expensive. So their margins are very low on it compared to what they need as a company. But if they go up, they won't have any volume. And these premium products like that struggle with that. That's why Spark doesn't struggle. It's inexpensive. But it also doesn't have a lot of the stuff these other premium products have in it. It's more for a upscale, not upscale, that's the wrong word, a higher level of commitment to oneself. I mean, someone that doesn't balk at paying $3 for a health tonic versus someone that will balk at paying $3 for a health tonic but won't balk at buying a case of Doritos. It's just your quality of commitment to your own self. Anybody else? Everybody good? Lord willing, we'll be back tonight at 7 and we'll tackle collagen, and then we'll, after collagen, if there's time remaining, we'll try to motivate a little bit since we didn't get to that today. Who feels like dismissing us? Thanks for spending time with me. Great class. I don't mean I did great. I mean, we had a great number of people here, and that always does my heart good. I hope it does your heart good to see so many brothers and sisters on the same journey with you. You're welcome. Thank you so much for that kind comment. Everybody good? James, brother, you feel like dismissing us?
I can handle that.
Thanks, sir.
Heavenly Father, thank you for Travis, and thank you for all the wonderful information. Help us all get into a healthier style of eating and living, Lord. We just feel totally blessed to be part of this group, Lord. We just bless each and every person in the group, and I just pray that they pray for success as they continue on this journey, Lord. Looking forward to tonight's meeting, Lord, and bless everyone again. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate y'all and talk to you soon. Stay perfect. Bye, everybody.